action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to a Monday edition of TNInews. We've got quite a bit of stuff to go over today, but before we jump into the news, let's just do a quick roll call, see who is in the house. So we've got John in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Also Austin Bird in the house. Happy Monday to you. Judge Dreads is in the house. Live long and prosper to you. Comics is in the house. Last week's big winner. Greetings. Jeremy is in the house. Happy Monday to you. Raul is here. Good to see you, my friend. Taking my lunch late to catch at least most of the show. Nice. Mr. Allmine's in the house. Passiano, good afternoon to you, my friend. We've got Jay and good to see you, my friend. Padre is here. Greetings. Hanzo's here as well. So got a good little full house here. Let's jump into the news. So this weekend we had Ghostbusters Day, and Hasbro revealed some new Ghostbuster product. We had McFarlane did some reveals during the IGI live event this weekend. But let's start off with Marvel. Let's just get through the Marvel stuff first. So just a quick reminder, our next Marvel Legend pre-order will be the Marvel vs. Capcom inspired Captain America versus Venom 2-pack. This will be released as a fan channel / Amazon exclusive. So going up at 1 p.m. Eastern time. This is a 1 p.m. Eastern pre-order. It will be going up on June 12th. So, what's that, Thursday? Yeah. Thursday. So this coming Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. You know, I see mixed comments on this one. I think a lot of people like the blue Venom, but some people would have liked to have seen completely new sculpts. So I don't know. Cap has some new parts to it, a little bit bigger, beefier than the previous Cap that they done. No chainmail sculpted though, but you do get the blast effect. You do get a shield without holes. Venom is just blue. I will tell you that this is not the last time we will be seeing Venom this year. So we will be getting some other type of Venom later in the year. But again, this one, June 12th, for your Marvel vs. Capcom. For you Marvel vs. Capcom fans, and I don't think it'll sell out like the Psylocke Omega Red 2-pack from Target. Also going up for pre-order tomorrow for you Mondo fans. We talked about this a little bit on Friday, but we have official images now for that 1/6 scale Carnage figure. So you can see you get all the different tentacle pieces, different hand pieces, multiple heads. Unmasked Cassidy head. We get some symbiote, tentacle, whatever you want to call it, pieces. So based on the Spider-Man animated series. Again, this is going up tomorrow on the Mondo Shop website, 12 p.m. Eastern time. $285 will be your cost on this one. And there's a look at the Venom, the Carnage, and the Spider-Man. I feel like if you're into 12-inch figures, this is one that you may want to check out. Technically, I guess it stands 13 inches. Hot Toys, this is one of their exclusives this year. This Peter Parker Last Stand suit from the Spider-Man 2 video game. So Spider-Man looking like he's wearing a biker jacket. Has the spider tentacles, octopus tentacles. Has some webbing effects. Oscorp canister. So again, this one is being offered as one of the Hot Toys exclusives for this year, convention exclusives. Dan Young threw out on social media asking people what Marvel rival figures might they want to see in if they ended up doing a Rivals wave, what characters would you want to see? So you can head over to Marvelous News and share your thoughts on that. No confirmation, but I've said this before. I feel like next year we will probably be seeing some type of Marvel Rivals game reverse wave offered, or at least I don't know if it'll be all Rivals, but a game reverse wave with some rival characters in it. So that's pretty much it on the Marvel front, though I did want to share with you an update on this. We talked about this last week. This is being offered at AMC theaters when the Fantastic Four movie is released. It is this Galactus popcorn bucket that has the light up eyes. It's like 361 ounces, so it holds a lot of popcorn, but it also has a very hefty price tag. This thing, if you decide to add it to your collection or for your popcorn, it's going to cost you $80. So I haven't heard any pricing on the Herbie soda cup thing that's also being offered at AMC, but I'm sure that's not going to be terribly cheap either. This one, the Galactus, again, $80 if you want to add that one. For Transformers, so just note that we have a Transformer live stream happening tomorrow, so 11 a.m. So we'll be getting some new Transformer reveals, Transformer pre-orders as well tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't know exactly how much stuff they're going to reveal tomorrow, but again, we'll have full coverage of whatever's revealed on tformers.com. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday about what's revealed. But like I said, just if you're into Transformers, I'm sure we'll get the official reveal for that 86 Studio Series Megatron and who knows what else. So again, mark that in your calendar. We also have another G.I. Joe live stream this week. So I've told you before, pre-orders on June 11th. So we're going to get a live stream beforehand at 11 a.m. So, mark your calendars for that. But also, likely we will see the official images for this week's pre-orders probably leak out tomorrow before the live stream on Wednesday. That's generally how it goes. So I told you this on Friday, but just to recap, I suspect for the mainline pre-orders, we are going to be seeing the retro cardback green shirt, the retro cardback bat. They had shown these renders off, a month or so ago. So these aren't new renders. Saw some people acting like these were like leaked new renders or something. They're not. We saw these, a while back. But these should be this week's pre-orders along with the police officer that they did reveal last week during last week's live stream. Now, again, I expect there'll be at least one Hasbro Pulse exclusive that will go up. I'm thinking it's going to be the Awe Striker with crankcase. So, that I'm less sure about because it's a Pulse exclusive. We won't see the images leak out on that one early if that's the case. It's also possible the Sergeant Slaughter with Mercer 2-pack could end up being a Pulse exclusive. I'm not saying 100%, but it wouldn't surprise me, especially since we saw the Slice and Dice go up as a Hasbro Pulse exclusive last week. So I feel like they wouldn't do two Pulse exclusives on the same day for pre-order. So I feel like even if this is a Pulse exclusive, I'm thinking more likely the All Striker is what will go up this week. But I think there'll be more pre-orders this month. It's kind of looking like we might be getting pre-orders every week. I don't know if we're going to get live streams every week, but obviously at the end of the month they're going to reveal the HasLab, which I think we all are pretty sure is going to be a Snowcat of some type. But again, I wouldn't be shocked if we get a live stream and pre-orders every week, basically. So this is funny. So last Friday, I told you how we had all these Hasbro pre-orders pop up on Target Friday morning, including the Marvel Legends. And there was some confusion, of course, because Hasbro had originally said the Marvel Legends was going to go up, the Psylocke and the Omega Red was going to go up at 1 p.m. when they promoted it during the live stream. But then 2 days before that, Dan Young came out and said 9 a.m. So it turns out that Friday's pre-orders actually was kicking off the first week of Target's summer Geek-Out event. Now they didn't make this known until after these things had gone up for pre-order. So I don't like late Friday or early Saturday they threw up this Geek-Out thing, and including these Star Wars figures as pre-orders. So there was no like indication beforehand or even during that these were part of Geek-Out, but in fact they were. So Geek-Out officially started last Friday, and it will be every Friday until July 18th. I'm thinking this coming Friday is going to be McFarlane stuff, because during last McFarlane's toy show, they had said Target Geek-Out was going to start on the 13th, but now I'm thinking they were actually just meaning their stuff is going to go up on the 13th. That's not 100%. That's just kind of speculating. But again, I'm thinking probably this week will be McFarlane. Now, the things they announced during the McFarlane toy show that definitely should be going up on their day will be the Batman animated series Build-A-Wave with Jonah Hex Build-A-Figure and the Kite Man, DC Collector Edition Kite Man. There's other figures that are been listed. They've already been showing up at physical stores. The Superman movie, Battle Damage Superman, the New 52 Superman, the Superman Strange Lives of Superman, the Cyborg Superman, Revenge of Green Lantern, the red Cyborg Superman. Those are all listed on Target's website. But so far, at least, they've not been made available for purchase. So I don't know if they will be made available for purchase during the Geek-Out event or not. That's just something you have to keep an eye out on. But again, the ones that they definitely said were going up during their day, which again, I'm speculating is going to be this coming Friday. But this Batman animated series wave with the Batman, the Killer Croc, the Ra's al Ghul, these are all reissues of the previous DC Direct figures, but then we get for the first time as a Build-A-Figure Jonah Hex. So that's really the new figure. Hopefully it'll last longer than the Bruce Wayne wave. And then Kite Man, a DC Collector Edition figure with Kite Man. So those I'm thinking will probably be this Friday's Target pre-orders. Now, Target or McFarlane is also having another stream this week. They announced their next McFarlane toy show is going to be on, I think, Thursday, they said. Yeah, June 12th. So I suspect they will give us more info about, Target stuff during that for Friday. But again, busy week for streams. We got Transformers, we got G.I. Joe, we've got the McFarlane toy show. So, and of course, with all of these, we'll have full coverage as they happen if you can't watch it. If you're interested in the Superman versus Godzilla 2-pack, that's going up for pre-order this week. That's also going up for pre-order on Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So we had seen, this set had already shown up overseas. I'm not gonna dig around, but we gotten a glimpse at this set already from overseas. So this set will have a 3-inch and a 7-inch scale Superman with it. And then remember, there's going to be a second Godzilla figure coming with Wonder Woman that we got previewed from Toy Collector magazine. We talked about that last week. So I don't know when that one's going to go up for pre-order, but we're going to be getting 2 Godzilla figures in this line. We got the Batman versus Kong figure. We got the Flash figure. So Pre-order today that McFarlane Azrael black and white statue. So that's available now. Places like Big Bad Toy Store, if you want to add, if you're into the statues, it looks pretty good. I've seen a number of people say that they hope that we get a figure version of this Azrael, but right now we've got the statue. We have another statue coming up this week for pre-order as well. I think it was the mirror statue, which is a 1/8 scale. The Azrael's 1/10 scale, mirror is 1/8 scale, and that one goes up Wednesday. Pre-order for this one on Wednesday. So. This Sunday, as I told you, that Lilith figure for their Elite Edition has gone up for pre-order. So it went up Sunday. It is sold out most places. It lasted 5 minutes at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. I'm not sure if Amazon actually ever had it available. They listed it, but I never saw it available. They didn't have it up at 12 p.m. yesterday. It may have gone up briefly at some point later in the day, but now it is showing not available. So again, I don't know if it was actually ever available. Walmart does, last time I checked, does still have it available, so you can still get it from Walmart. So it is not sold out at Walmart, and I think physical Walmart stores are going to carry this figure as well. So I think GameStop maybe has put it up as well, but Walmart is probably your best bet for this one. Looks pretty good. This one, unlike the previous Diablo 4 stuff that they did, is articulated. The wings do move. So again, it's a pretty nice looking figure if you're into Diablo. I'm not really, but there you go. And then yesterday we got some new reveals. So we've got a couple more Elite Edition figures with a Fallout figure, plus this what is it? Persona 3 game, I guess. I'm not really familiar with that, but that's going to be Elite Edition. They gave us a new updated look at the first two Mortal Kombat Classic figures, so Sub-Zero and a Scorpion, plus a look at the packaging. The rope and spike is bendy wire. That's the back of the packaging. And then again, this Persona 3 figure is going to be, I don't know which one. I think this will be the fourth figure, because we got the Doom figure, we got the Lilith figure, and we've got the Fallout figure. I think this is going to be the next one released. So this one again is articulated, has quite a few accessories. Here's another look at the Lilith figure. So those again were all revealed during the IGN live event yesterday. And then we'll get more reveals this coming Thursday during the next McFarlane Toy Show. For you NECA fans, I think we talked about this on Friday, but that Samurai Predator figure is available for pre-order. Yeah, we talked about that, I think, Friday. But we've got another Comic-Con exclusive set revealed, or figure, I should say. So this is a glow-in-the-dark retro Bride of Frankenstein figure. So this is another San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, though I'm sure they'll have these available online as well. So if you're into the Universal Monster stuff, if you like the glow-in-the-dark figures, this is one that you're going to want to check out. But yeah, again, pre-sale will be available on NECA Store June 8th through the 20th. I'm sure they're going to do it where they do a limited number each day. That's what they usually do. So far we've got 3 San Diego Comic-Con exclusives from NECA. We've got that. We've got the turtle set with the Hawaiian shirts. And then the first one they revealed was the Ben Cooper figure. So I'm sure we have at least a few more from NECA, but nothing on the Masters front, really. Uh, Loyal Subjects has released new images showing off the features of the vehicles. You know, one of the things that are kind of new with these is the blast effects and stuff. So July is when these are supposed to go up at Big Bad Toy Store first, and then like a month later everywhere else. So I know some overseas retailers already opened pre-orders for these. But just a quick update there on Mask. Um, Another thing I'm thinking you're going to probably see sometime during the Target Geek-Out are these Superman figures, these retro collection 4-inch Superman figures, or 3 3/4 inch figures. We talked about these before, but these here in the United States are going to be released as Target exclusives. I don't know if I mentioned that when we talked about this last time, but but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing these go up sometime during the Geek Out event. For you real Ghostbuster fans, Mondo, it looks like later this week we're going to see the next 112 real Ghostbuster set with Winston go up. So they tease that this weekend. And then also Saturday was Ghostbuster Day. So we got some new reveals from Hasbro. So first of all, a couple of new things went up for purchase on Hasbro Pulse. So a new Proton pack, classic 84 Proton pack, which looks like very similar to the HasLab one. So a rare case where they're kind of giving you another option. This is not a HasLab, but just available for purchase on Hasbro Pulse. $299.99. I don't think it's sold out, but yeah, it's still available. And then also a new set of Plasma Series 6-inch Ghostbusters Rooftop Battle. So these, I think, are the same figures we got before with different head sculpts. But it's a set, so you got to buy the whole set. They all look angry. So this set costs $99. And again, I don't think this is sold out. Nope. And then also revealed during Ghostbuster Day, going along, they had already revealed the Ecto Glow Real Ghostbuster figures, but there's going to be an Ecto one that goes along with it. So thanks to Horror Movie BBQ for this image. Again, we had already seen the figures, but this is this year's San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Both of these are going to be offered at San Diego Comic-Con, and then I'm sure quantities will be made available online afterwards. So I think that brings us up to date with pretty much everything. Luciano says Geek Out has sucked so far. Chris Kenny, thanks for the live stream. Thank you for watching, my friend. Royal says, I like the cap a lot for the Marvel vs. Capcom set. Not sure it's worth me shelling out $60 for it when I'm confident that figures will get a single release down the road. Of course, if they do, like I joked before, but honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they did a maximum Captain America with the sculpted chainmail, and it'd probably be about the same price. Of course, the sculpted chainmail, I like, you know, this one has the sculpted. So I wouldn't be surprised if they take that figure and give us the sculpted chainmail at some point down the road. But you're right. I mean, we could definitely. They love to do caps, so it's always a good possibility. Venom. Like I say, I don't know what kind of Venom it's going to be, but I can guarantee you or I won't guarantee you, but I'll tell you the chances are very high that we will be seeing another Venom released in another line, another Marvel Legend line, this year. John Brooks in the house from Ireland. Alfredo from Puerto Rico. Happy late Puerto Rico Day. I really don't get how these companies want to create artificial demand with these limited pre-orders. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that practice, but it works. Like for instance, like I pre-ordered the Psylocke um, Thanos 2-pack because I felt pretty much like I wanted the Psylocke, but I also felt like pretty strongly it was going to sell out quickly, and so I was like, I better pre-order it. Had I not been worried about it selling out, I probably would have waited and just been like, yeah, I'll get it when I wouldn't have necessarily pre-ordered it. So, it works to a certain extent, but of course, it also causes a lot of frustration with like McFarlane. I think it's more that they want you to go into the physical, and maybe even the same with the Psylocke, because again, that Psylocke Thanos 2-pack will be available in stores. We'll see how easy it is to get in stores. But like the Professor Xavier X-Men Retro Cardback one that they did here recently, that sold out online pretty quickly. But I know it has not been hard to find in physical stores once it actually got released. So, like I've said this before, but I feel like some of these companies, probably due to pressure from the larger retailers, are trying to push people to come into store. So it's not necessarily trying to inflate the demand. It's just making it more difficult to buy online so that you have to go into the physical store to get it. Hanzo, like I've said many times before, Marvel rival figures would be cool. The slight problem I see is what design do you pick for each character, as each character has 3 or 4 alternate costumes. Yeah, I since I've actually never even played the game, like I will tell you point blank, I have no interest in figures based on rivals because again, it's not a game I've gotten into. I've seen a lot of people online, suggest that they would be interested in seeing it. So I think it would be wise for Hasbro to, pursue it. But for me personally, I have no interest. I don't even really like the designs I've seen for the game of the characters for the most part. But yeah, I don't know how they would. I assume there's like a main version and then there's different like variants. So I would assume they go with the main version, but I don't know. Judge Dredd, June 12th is the day I went to the Army. Thanks for your service, Judge. JC, I hope you and the family are well. Sorry I was busy. Just been able to get here. No problem, my friend. Always good to have you when you can drop in. Jerry says, just got McFarlane, Jim Gordon, Alfred, and Bizarro for 65. Skip Jade. Who's Jade? Congrats on your purchases. Oh, so Hansa, one other piece I forgot to tell you. So it's been a while, but we also got this or last week leaked listings for McFarlane. So these are from overseas e-tailers, not confirmed yet by McFarlane, but they almost always do come accurate. So I'm not going to read every single figure on the list here. Riddler from Hush, I feel like people will be interested in. We've seen this before, but a DC multiverse version of the 66 Batmobile. So, we got the 6-inch classic TV Batmobile, but this sounds like going to be more in keeping with the other movie Batmobiles that they've been doing. These have already been announced. Well, the Peacemaker hasn't. We'll probably see. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that this week during the McFarlane Toy Show. Season 2 Peacemaker, but the others, the Penguin, Catwoman, Batman, and of course there should be the Penguin's Penguin, and then Shrek as well for those, but those weren't listed. So I don't know if they're breaking up the figures, 2 waves or what, or possibly red platinum figure. Who knows? Let's see. Batman Animated Series Harley Quinn Joker. That's a reissue from DC Direct. Next wave of DC Super Friends 6-inch figures. So we saw the second wave announced during the last McFarlane Toy Show with the Toyman, Superman, and I forget what the others were. But this third wave, Aquaman, Bizarro Batman, Brainiac, and half of the Wonder Twins. So Zan is going to be in the third wave of 6-inch DC retro figures. Some more Marvel stuff. Fallout stuff. Now, these are like really not very articulated, but and then this listing popped up before it was revealed, but there's that Elite Edition Fallout figure, movie Maniac stuff. Turtles, the 4 turtles. Actually, only 3 turtles were listed, or 2 turtles and a Foot Soldier and Shredder. So I don't know if that's how they're breaking these up. I think if I remember, Shredder was on display. No pictures were allowed at Toy Fair, but I don't think the Foot Soldier we knew about per se. And it's curious if they're going to break them up into waves with 2 turtles and then 2 villains. This is something brand new for Transformers. Looks like McFarlane's going to be doing 1/3 scale Transformer heads. So Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Bumblebee. I guess kind of like the cowls they do for Batman. That's what I'm envisioning these are going to be. So, but they're going to be doing it for Transformers. So this is your Mortal Kombat question. So after the ones that we saw at Toy Fair, Raiden, I think Raiden was on display at Toy Fair if I remember, but Reptile for Wave 2. Now I don't know if this is all of Wave 2 or just my guess is there'll be some additional figures. This list seems like a little bit incomplete. Avatar stuff and a Demon Slayer figure, but again, definitely should be getting more Mortal Kombat. And they've said previously, they're going to do single packs and they're going to do 2 packs. And the 2 packs will have backgrounds from, based on the video game. So, I think they're going to, especially, after they lose DC, Mortal Kombat and Turtles are going to be their 2 biggest licenses. So, in my view, I mean, the video game stuff, if they start giving us more in the way of articulated figures, I think will become more popular. like the Diablo 4 and Fallout and stuff, but we'll have to see if they go deep with articulated figures on those or not. But with when they lose DC, they're going to have some big shoes to fill. Steve Reno, how much was the HasLab Proton pack? I will have to look that up because I don't remember off of the top of my head. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Somebody, you guys in the comments may have remembered it quicker than I can find it. It looks like $300. Yeah, $300 was the original HasLab. And what was it? And this new one is $300, so it's the same price. That Stinger. Are you talking about the GI Joe's Stinger Jeep, which has been marked down on Amazon? I don't know if that's what you're talking about. At least it was. I don't know if it's. Yeah, it's currently sitting at $69.97. What's up, Zim? Hey, bro, any news in your circle about the Power Rangers license? Like if Playmates will start making lines for adult collectors, or is Hasbro my Playmate? According to Playmates at Toy Fair, they had no plans to do adult collector-oriented stuff. I have not seen no indication Hasbro's going to get back into doing Power Rangers. Super 7 seems pretty much done with Power Rangers. So right now, I think it's just the more kid-oriented stuff. You've got the remastered Power Ranger, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger show on YouTube, which, again, Playmates told me at Toy Fair they were hoping that was going to bring kids back into Power Rangers and get them buying the Playmate stuff. I don't know how well. I mean, yes, I do understand kids today probably watch YouTube more than they do regular TV, but I don't know if they're going to be successful in re-engaging a new generation of kids to buy Power Rangers. But that seemed to be the goal. And as far as collector-oriented stuff, I have not heard anything. Jerry says Savage Land Professor X got makeup on. Is it me, or does it seem like Legends are cranking out the same characters more often than usual? Cap, Wolverine's, but I don't know if usual. I mean, we always, every year I think we see some version of Wolverine. I mean, maybe some others like Cyclops have been getting a little more love. Venom has always been popular, so I think Venom's one they've, Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage, those are their favorites for Spider-Man, Captain America. So no, Iron Man. So I wouldn't say more than usual, but the Shred says it amazes me how everyone claims to hate Todd's figures, but everything he makes sells out. Well, again, right now at least, I think you're seeing because it's being limited so much. But I don't think. I mean, I don't care what company it is. If you're on social media, somebody's going to rant about it, say they suck. I mean, I don't know how many times you'll see people say Hasbro sucks. McFarlane sucks. Everybody sucks. I mean, that's just the internet. I think Todd has done good figures. The thing that frustrates about Todd that I think is a legitimate complaint is just with like all of his red platinum and stuff. And like I say, even more so today, he seems to be trying to push people into going into physical stores. So, but I think Todd's DC figures have been fairly popular since he started the line. But of course, now he's lost the license, so there's also just a frame of mind of he's only got about a year left to crank out figures, and then someone else is going to take over, and who knows what they're going to do. Figure for you. I assume Todd's deal is that if his product isn't moving enough at physical retail, he might lose the contract aisle space at retailers or something like that. I mean, obviously, any retailer would like to see as many places as possible buy their figures, but there is no doubt about it that if you have a Target or Walmart carrying your action figures, even if they're only carrying like one case per store, they are likely going to order more than any other retailers out there, other than maybe Amazon. But like even a Big Bad and Entertainment Earth, if Target and Walmart are ordering cases to at least send one case, at a minimum one case per store, they have enough stores spread throughout the country that that's still going to probably be a bigger order than any smaller retailer. So yeah, and when the retailer goes and say, "Hey, I want an exclusive," they're paying for that exclusive, and you're not going to see a toy retailer turn that down. Now, I don't know when Target sells out in minutes. Is it because they're not taking steps to prevent the scalper bots from cleaning out their inventory? Are they deliberately setting their inventory levels low online so they sell out quick? Those are only things we can speculate about, and I honestly don't know which it is. I can tell you with the McFarlane stuff, it is limited. Stores, places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth and such. They're just and what I don't know about them is whether it's their choice, whether they decided they didn't want to order tons, or whether McFarlane is deliberately limiting them from ordering more so that you're more likely to go to a big retailer. But yeah, most toy companies are going to give preference to the larger retailers because they're going to place bigger orders and they're going to make more money there. Plus, when you're talking about big licenses that are tied into movies and stuff, the studios want to see your product on shelves at Walmarts and Targets, much more so than any online retailer because they use that merchandise as a way to promote their movies. So, yeah, boss, I, I would tell you, like, go to Amazon and buy it now, but it's dropped in price like 3 times in like over a week. So the original price was $90, $99, and now right now it's sitting on Amazon for $69.97. So I feel like it's one of those where it's like, how low will it go? Will it drop? Will it keep dropping, or is this the lowest it's going to go? I don't know. Um, I paid full price for mine. I don't really need another one, but if it keeps dropping in price, if it drops under 50, I could be tempted to buy a second one maybe. And if you're, it's an RV builder vehicle too, so there's that as well. But it's like 3 times in 1 week. I mean, we're only talking about a few bucks. It's been dropping each time. Well, I mean, it dropped initially from the 99, but in the past week, I think it started at like 74, and then dropped to like 71, and now, like I say, it's a 69.97. So, but I've been keeping an eye on it, so we'll see if it drops anymore. Kokomo Customs. Jay, you should create a poll for the chat. McFarlane would still have the DC license if he made all this figure 6-inch scale, yes or no? Well, I don't think that would be the case. I could run a poll asking which scale would you prefer, 6-inch or 7-inch, but I think I know that answer. Um, so I don't really know if I need to know poll, but I don't think whether he did 6-inch or 7-inch would have changed him having the license or not. I mean, there was some mixed. If you circle back to when McFarlane first got the DC license, along with Spin Master. Remember, Spin Master and McFarlane got that license at the same time, and they split it in half. And at least what Todd had said was they were doing 7-inch figures because Spin Master was doing 6-inch figures. Now, you and I know that the McFarlane figures are collector figures and the Spin Master figures are more for kids. But when you're talking about a retailer, all they see are 6-inch figures. So I think it was essentially, I don't know if it was like a gentleman's agreement or something in the actual contract or what, but I think there was this idea that Spin Master wanted to do, they were the larger, they owned the more of the license than McFarlane did. And I think Spin Master, because they do 6-inch stuff, again, more kid oriented, less articulation, cheaper, that type of thing. But they wanted to have the ability to do the 6-inch figures that would be on the shelves at Walmart and Target, along with Todd's DC figures. And they didn't want to have conflicting, the same scale conflicting with each other. So I think that's one of the big motivators for why Todd decided to do 7-inch figures. Now, all of Todd's figures have been 7-inch scale. The DC Direct figures were 7-inch scale. So, I mean, I think there were other probably reasons for the 7-inch scale choice, but I'm not sure. I think possibly one of the big factors for why Todd did 7-inch and not 6-inch was because of the Spin Master side of it. Now, Mattel, when they take over the license, they're taking the whole thing back, so there won't be a conflict. Mattel did do 6-inch figures previously, so I suspect, and I mean it's just speculation, but I imagine when Mattel takes the license back over, they will go back to 6-inch scale figures for the collector stuff. But I don't think that had any impact on Todd losing the license. In fact, I think the only reason why Todd lost the license is because Mattel decided they wanted the license. Mattel's a bigger company, has more shelf space at the retailers, has more, it's just, Todd didn't steal the DC license away from Mattel. Mattel at the time decided they didn't want to re-up the DC license. But now that we've got, a return of, James Gunn Superman movies, which will hopefully be successful and such, I think Mattel saw that as an opportunity to want to come back and reclaim the license. But I don't think it's really has anything to do with, McFarlane handled the license badly or something along those lines. It's just Mattel has a bigger reach. They have more money to spend, yada, yada, yada. And I think that's what it pretty much boils down to. The Watcher, McFarlane's disdain for female figures, chases, and limited stock was already making people lose interest. Me personally, I got tired of it and pretty much stopped buying McFarlane altogether. I'm excited for Mattel when they. I mean, I hope Mattel sometimes is hit or miss, but I hope that I hope when Mattel, we're not going to find out until probably this time next year of what Mattel is really doing. But I hope they come out swinging. I hope they give us something in keeping with Marvel Legends. A 6-inch scale detailed figure line. Um, you know, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. John Toll, I think it's silly, but the segment of the internet that got angry at him about female figures just hates him with a passion. Couldn't have helped. Well, Todd stuck his foot in his mouth, as he's done more than on one occasion, about the female figure thing. Well, Todd made a legitimate point that I think in some cases female figures do not, especially at mass retail, especially when you're talking about product geared more for kids than adults. Traditionally female figures have not sold as well. A character like Wonder Woman, who's one of the big three Trinity superheroes for DC Comics, I don't think especially with Wonder Woman, I don't think that's really the case per se. I think also when you're dealing with more adult oriented collector stuff, if it's a popular character, female figures can sell just fine. So, some of what Todd had said in that interview, when he got started taking the heat, was, I think, some outdated thinking based on, you know, a different toy world per se. And like I say, when you're talking about retail and what has to, the numbers that need to sell at retail to be considered successful, as opposed to smaller collector oriented e-tailers, there's also a difference in that. But I think Mattel, I think will definitely give us Wonder Woman and some of the other female characters. And with the movies, the movies help that as well, assuming they're successful. Which is still remains to be seen. But if the Superman movie is successful, then you're going to see probably characters like Hawkgirl get more. She's going to possibly become more of a recognized name. I mean, Hawkgirl's already somewhat. She was in the Justice League cartoon back in the day. She was in the CW stuff for a while. So, you definitely could see that. If those movies, I'm not going to sit here and say Superman's going to be a huge box office success. I think that remains to be seen. But I think that's definitely the hope, and kicks off a new era for DC movies. Uh, Todd has a really weird way of looking at toys and collecting. I don't agree or really like having to chase. Well, keep in mind, Todd came up in the comic book industry, primarily in the late '80s and '90s, and the comic book these are all little tricks and things that were widely used in the '90s by the comic book industry. Chase covers, variant covers, limited edition covers. Some of that was used. I mean, it's not like it's never been used in toy collecting either. But I mean, Todd, you can definitely see the influence that Todd, having come up in the comic book industry in the '90s, has made on his decision making. And I think it can be effective to a certain extent, but I think you can go overboard. And I do feel like Todd has gone overboard with that stuff. But I mean, we complain about it, but the reality is, I think we all, when you have something in your collection that is deemed rare, possibly even valuable, that's something you can hold up and say proudly, oh, this is a prized piece in my collection. So I think we all like that feeling when we have something in our collection that's considered rare or what have you. But I agree, when companies so blatantly try and do it artificially, and they do it over and over again, then it starts to become annoying. So it's kind of like a balance that I feel like you have to try and reach with that kind of thing. All right, well, we're getting to the end of the hour, so I think we're going to call it a day, but it's going to be a busy week. Like I said, we've got 3 different company fan streams. So Transformers tomorrow from Hasbro, 11 a.m. Coverage will be up at tformers.com. Then we've got McFarlane and G.I. Joe. So G.I. Joe is Wednesday. So... and again, pre-order both Transformers have pre-orders tomorrow 1 p.m. G.I. Joe will have pre-orders on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then we've got McFarlane's on Thursday, the 12th. I don't think any pre-orders that day other than the ones we already know about. We've got the Superman versus Godzilla set that goes up on the 12th. But that'll be before the live stream actually kicks off, because the McFarlane live stream is I think 1 o'clock p.m. this time. So but the 2 Hasbro ones 11 a.m. But my main point here is it's going to be a busy week, should have a lot of reveals, a lot of news. So I definitely should be back on Wednesday to talk with you guys, probably as Friday as well. It'll be another 3 video week, it looks like. So a lot of stuff, and as we get closer and closer to San Diego Comic-Con next month, I expect that pace of news to basically continue to pick up. But thank you as always, guys, for tuning in today. It is always much appreciated. Stay safe out there, now more than ever. Have a great week, and until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to toynewseye.com, marvelousnews.com, JediInsider.com, and tformers.com. And remember, action figures are great,